Grace, and welcome back to my corner of the internet. Today I've got another book talk video for you guys. I'm going to be talking about two books, the first of which is Children of Eden by Joey Graceffa. This book is actually a Christmas gift for my daughter, so I very carefully read it, and without tarnishing it at all, so I can now wrap it up and put it under the tree once that time rolls around. But Joey Graceffa, of course, is a wildly popular YouTuber. I actually learned about him a couple years ago through my daughter. He's got a channel that's very appropriate for kids to watch. She, like I'm sure many little girls, fell instantly in love with his just sparkling personality, and she'd come and she'd be like, "Mom, you have to watch this video. He did something so funny or so cool," and she just loved sharing him with me. So when I saw this book, I was like, oh, I have to pick it up for her. Now, this is his second book. The first, I believe, is autobiographical, and I have not read that, but this is a story. I love when the YouTubers come out with actual books, like fiction books. I find that very exciting, and the ones I've read so far have been great. So, yes, so Children of Eden. This book was so good. I went into it with really kind of, low expectations. I had no idea what kind of a writer he was going to be. I knew he was a great storyteller. You can tell that from his channel. He's got some really great short films on there that are very clever and just beautifully presented. So I knew he was a good storyteller, but you never know how that's going to translate into being an author. But he is a very talented writer. I was blown away. The way he describes things and the words that he chooses to use are so perfect. There were so many times I was like, wow, that is the perfect way to describe something. And yeah, just really talented. It's a YA book, and I tend to stay away from those. Not for any real reason in particular, it's just my tastes in literature seem to run a little darker than what the YA books are about. But if you love them, great. Even if you don't, I would give this a try. So what it's about is this takes place a few thousand years in the future. Earth has been killed, basically. All of the animals and plants have died. And right before humans were going to go extinct, a scientist or an environmentalist, just a genius, he kind of created a standalone, self-contained environment to put the few remaining humans so that they could live there and begin to repopulate while the earth was over here kind of healing itself. One of the things, because of that, there are limited resources, and because of that, families are limited to one child. And this story is about a girl who was born as a set of twins, and her brother is the one that was allowed to live normally and be known. Because what happens is once they're born, they're taken to the hospital or wherever, and they're given a set of lenses that are implanted over their eyes that then kind of track them throughout this. Eden is the name of the place. It tracks them. They're scanned anytime they go anywhere or do anything, and it's just a way to keep really tight tabs on the citizens to know what they're doing, when they're doing it, who they're doing it with. And so, of course, the second children, which is what she is, don't get those lenses. So she spends her whole life, the first 17 years of it, when we first get to know her, kind of being hidden away in her family's house, living vicariously through her twin brother. Then what happens is she's from a wealthy family, and so for years and years they've been trying to devise a plan, a way for her to get a set of lenses and then be able to be sort of fostered out into a family that doesn't have a child so that she can then go and live. The catch being that then she would never be able to see her family again. So as we're kind of building up to this, one day Rowan, that's the daughter, she's just had enough and she sneaks out of her house. And for the first time she's out in the world. And she meets a girl who knows her brother from school, and she develops a friendship with her. And then she quickly finds out that the lenses have become available and they have to move this along and get her implants in and then send her off to the new family to live. And from there, everything goes wrong. And this, I mean, it's an adventure tale for sure. I was kept guessing the entire time. It never gets boring. It is constant, just constant adventure, and it's the perfect length. There's no parts that drag. I kept wondering what was going to happen, and I absolutely loved it. And I know my daughter's going to love it too. So props to Joey. This is great. The ending too has lent itself very well to a sequel, or if that never comes to be, a very eerie ending to the story. So yeah, definitely. I got this at Walmart. I'm guessing you can get it pretty much anywhere. The cover's really beautiful too. So yeah, definitely check that out if you get the chance or have the inclination. Next up is a book I mentioned before that was on my to be read pile, and it's called In a Dark, Dark Wood. You guys, I had such high hopes for this book. Such high hopes. It's written by Ruth Ware. It's a soon to be a major motion picture. I was reading that Reese Witherspoon has kind of either bought the rights or she has something to do with making the film. I don't think she's in it, but apparently she really loved this and wanted to make it into a movie. The story will lend itself well to a film. It just won't be a very good one, in my opinion. The book it's not well written at all. But sometimes you can overlook that if the story's great. You know what I mean? For me personally, what I'm drawn to more than anything is beautifully written prose. Not here. This is not here. But I was like, okay, you know what? That's okay. Maybe this is going to be a real awesome story. So what it's about is, I can't even remember the girl's name. Leonora. Known to some as Lee, known to some as Nora, is invited to the bachelorette party of a friend that she hasn't seen in over 10 years. She kind of goes back and forth. Should I go? Should I not go? What should I do? Eventually, her other friend is like, let's just do it. Let's go. So together they go. Even though they have no idea why they've been invited, because they're just not friends with her anymore. So this bachelorette party is taking place in a cabin in the woods, very isolated, very wintry, very cold. It's those two girls, their friend from 10 years ago, her new friend, and two other people. So the story is told from two times. It goes back and forth between the present and then that weekend. In the present, somebody has been murdered. Leonora is in the hospital. There are cops guarding her door, so she's pretty sure whoever's been murdered, she did it. Sounds fine, but it was terrible, you guys. And I hate saying that. Because I know how much work goes into writing a book, and when you write it, you put your all into it, and you hope for the best, but this just was not for me. When the big reveal came of what's been happening, I was like, are you kidding me? I knew that from the very beginning. It was just so predictable, and I kept thinking like, no, it's not going to end like that. They're going to blow me away. And it just did not happen. It wasn't spooky. It wasn't a thriller like it promised. It just fell flat. So for me, this is a thumbs down. But Children of Eden, big thumbs up. I was so pleasantly surprised. And Joey just seems like such a nice person. Yeah, so there you have it. That's gonna do it for me for today. Thanks so much for watching, you guys. And I hope you have a great weekend. Bye.